Let's jump into the episode today. Takeaway lessons from our most recent virtual event. We had an event on the 23rd of February. It was an event that was co-sponsored or brought to you by Dental Intel and the Thriving Dentist Show. And it was called The Secrets to Thriving in 2024. And really, we focused on three things. I talked about the dental buyer's journey. Gary talked about the 5 strategies to thrive. And Dental Intel shared insights from all the data they collect by working with 10,000 practices as to what they're noticing and perhaps what the dental practice owners could do with that information. Gary, before we jump into the details and share the wisdom, can you kind of give us an overview of this event we just had?
Yeah, it was a super fun event. We've been friends with the leadership team at Dental Intelligence for many, many years. And we wanted to do something with them. And so together, Thriving Dentist partnered with Dental Intelligence and put on a really fun live event. It was 2 hours. As the title would indicate, it was done live. And we had a lot of fun with it. And as Naren mentioned, we had 3 speakers, myself, Naren, and Steve Jensen from Dental Intelligence. And each of us had about 40 minutes to kind of give, I would think of it as kind of a keynote address, kind of what might be a lead speaker at a conference, type of thing. We had great attendance. We had dentists from all over the country, dentists and team members from all over the country attend. And by the way, before I get into the content of that and share the takeaway lessons from that, we're doing something we've never done before. We are making the recording of that event available to you at no cost. It's our gift to you. If you'd like to get a recording, it's the entire 2 hours, loaded with content. Go to www.thrivingdentist.com/recent event. Just simply register and we'll send you the recording. I would have liked to have you attend live, but this is the next best thing. And so add that to your CE content and lots of takeaways. Well, I kicked off the event with my presentation on 5 specific strategies to make 2024 your best year yet. Now, I'm going to leave you in suspense. You've got to watch that replay to learn the 5 specific strategies that I mentioned. But let me frame it and tell you why I think this is so important. Practices are either growing or dying. Growing or dying. Now, Naren, you might be thinking, wait a minute, Gary, isn't there a third option? What if a practice stays the same? Well, what if they stay the same, Naren?
Like you said, if they're staying the same, they're dying because, the expenses are going up. The cost of living is going up. The salaries are going up. The box of gloves are more expensive today than they were 2 years ago. So technically, they're going backwards. So the take home.
Imagine, like let's say you had a salary in your job in 2010, and now that salary didn't go up till now. What's the buying power of that salary in 2010 compared to 2024? The buying power now is much lower.
Right.
Is much lower. So if you're staying the same, you're actually going backwards. So growth is something that I believe needs to be in the culture of your practice. It needs to be in your culture. And doctors, if I can help you with this, the best way to create growth in your practice is to frame it around the patient experience, If you can create a growth culture in your practice, where growth helps more of your existing patients achieve optimal oral health and more people in the community achieve optimal oral health, isn't that an amazing objective, Naren? Can you imagine a team rallying around that objective of helping more people in your community have great oral health? Absolutely. And so you frame it and you lead from the position of, hey, we want to help more people. Ask your team members, hey, are you proud of the dentistry we do in our practice? And my guess is that your team members are going to nod their head and say, you bet we are. We take great care of our patients. Well, wouldn't it be great if we helped more of our existing patients achieve the benefits of great oral health and broaden that even further to help more patients in our community have great oral health? Now we create a position of growth. When Paul and I bought Life Smiles, what we came to call Life Smiles Dental Care in May of 2007, one of the goals that we set is we wanted to grow every year. Every single year we wanted to grow. And initially we made a very naive goal here. And I laugh at it when I think about it now. But our goal was to collect more every single year. But we didn't define it. So technically, as soon as we created that goal, and we noticed we measured it in collections, because collection is real money that you can deposit in your bank. But it wasn't precise enough. Because technically, if I collected $1 more next year, we would have met our goal, right? Well, that wasn't what we had in mind. So we quickly changed it. And we quickly, we sat and we thought about it. We said, we'd like to grow by at least 10% every year, at least 10% every year. And that did not include when we're adding more providers. In other words, 10% every year meant, if we had the same team, same number of providers. But when we added providers, like maybe we added more hygiene days or we added another hygienist and we eventually added another doctor, then we would not only want to grow 10%, but we don't want to also grow it to include the contribution by the new providers. And, here we are recording this in 2024, and LifeSmiles has experienced from 2007 through 2023. And that is 16 years, where every single year has been the new best year in collections, every single year. And I'd like you to experience that same thing, where every year is your new best year. And I would politely suggest that you ought to have a goal of growing by at least 10% every year, just like us. Because now, I want to be careful about making any predictions here, but hopefully that'll keep us ahead of inflation. Naren, would you think 10% growth a year would keep us ahead of inflation?
Yes.
Every year?
I think so. I mean, if inflation is, I think it's coming down. It has come down, right? What is it right now? Is it like 4% right now?
Yeah.
It used to be like 9%. So, I mean, if you're growing 10%, then of course you're going to do, you're going to be better off, because even after inflation, you are in a net positive territory. So let's say your expenses are going up with inflation, but your revenue is going up at 10%, which is, let's say, double the rate of inflation. You're going to get better. In other words, the take-home pay, the revenue of the practice, they're all going to grow in a way that's going to be very beneficial to the practice owner.
I'd like to think that 10% is going to keep us ahead of the pace of inflation. I would like to think that for sure, unless we're in Argentina, and then it's different. For sure.